Hello. Got another game going on here between, this time it's Pepsi Max versus Team Flounder in the round of 64 for the Carnage and Caldavar Qualifiers. Curson, the only, sorry, I don't know, lost my train of thought completely. The only person over here on either side that I recognize, as he played as a ringer for a couple of games. I believe he showed up for a reason while they were trying some people out, and he played for somebody else, I don't know. But we've seen him before in competitive games. He's pretty active on the forums too, so probably a name you recognize. Nobody else I don't think is a particularly active competitive player. Soup Medic is just a great name, and congratulations to him for having an awesome name. I don't know how you'd be a medic with soup, but I'm excited to find out. Bans are done. Kraken, Kronos, Puppet Master, and Pestilence, making plenty of sense. Pesty, interesting that actually he's shown up once again in the bans. Just a hero that hasn't been picked anymore. I believe he got a slight nerf in the last major patch, as he was one of the more powerful heroes in the scene. But it didn't feel like it was something that was going to totally destroy his effectiveness, and yet we just don't see him at all anymore, ever. Which is really interesting because he used to be either first pick or first ban material. It was just every single game. Either he gets taken out of the pool or he's picked within the first couple of picks. And since then, he's been completely ignored in a lot of games. So perhaps Pepsi or the Det Team Flounder versus the Imp, I guess, whatever. Feeling like that's a hero that they don't want to deal with, and as a result, removing him from the pool. Kraken, Kronos, and PM, all heroes we see fairly often. Kronos especially getting banned out a lot just because people are like, alright, I don't want to deal with that hero. And that makes plenty of sense. Kraken and PM, once again, sensible bans here. I think the versatility of Kraken and the power of Puppet Master are both like, I can understand why you'd want to get rid of that hero and not have to face him. Perhaps they don't fit into your lineup or whatever, they don't fit in what you want to do, and therefore they make sense to remove, as they can become game-changing if the other team manages to pick them up. Couple of picks deep so far here. Magnus and Master of Arms, the first two selections for Pepsi Max, and Nymphora and Rhapsody, the first two selections for the Hellborn side. I said this before, I'll say it again. I don't like picking supports early. I think it pigeonholes you into certain things. Now, Nymphora, Rhapsody, decent enough tri-laners. Nymphora, not the greatest babysitter, and really not a hero that I would pick first overall ever. I think she's a strong support. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a place. I think she absolutely is, and I think she probably should be used a little bit more than she currently is. I just don't think I'd ever pick her up first. I think she complements a lot of heroes very well, and other heroes just do not care, particularly ones that don't have a setup stun for her already, and many heroes don't. Like, they just don't have a setup stun, and she sort of needs one for that seal. Dampier and Nymphora is a great tri-lane, or great dual lane, so speaking of that, there could be a tri-lane coming out here. Nymphora, Dampier, and Rhapsody do have the potential to form a very powerful tri-lane. If not, Nymph and Dampier, I expect, will be the combination in the top lane. And Nymph and Dampier obviously is very powerful just because Damp can eat mana. So if you put the Grace of the Nymph on top of a Dampier who's constantly spamming his Flight and his Terrorize, you can do a whole lot of damage very quickly and consistently and just harass opposing heroes over the lane. So I do expect those two heroes to be paired with each other, and it's possible that they won't be, but I really hope that they are. Dampier here we don't see too much anymore either, as you know, he used to be consistently picked up. We used to see him quite a bit for maybe the course of a couple of months, and then all of a sudden he just fell off maybe a few months ago. But we'll see what he can do here. Obviously still a pretty powerful hero, and no doubt one that probably deserves a place in the competitive scene, just the burst damage he provides, and he is really a carry. He can get up there. He's able to, with the Grimoire of Power, turn into something like a 600 GPM carry. And not too many heroes are able to do that. One that can, with the Grimoire of Power, is Wretched Hag, who is the third pick, on top of the Magnus Master of Arms. So two stuns, now they have a slow, and Hag would presumably be a solo laner. Master obviously giving some versatility in terms of the support or carry option, so no guarantee as to which of those he will play. We almost always see him as a support, so that's the expectation, but doesn't have to be the case, of course. And Magnus, similarly, we usually see him in a farming role, but he could play the support. I'm not a huge fan of melee supports myself. Magnus is one of the better ones, probably, but they lack their harass potential. They're not able to get in and continue to throw auto attacks down. They can't really help you too much in that department, and as a result, I don't think they're super powerful, but It's not to say they couldn't be, particularly in a tri-lane. I think if you're going to go for something like that, the tri-lane is the best place to do it. And Legion still has that possibility, no doubt. Hag wouldn't be part of that, but Master of Arms definitely a quality tri-lane hero. Bubbles, Swiftblade, and Warbeast going to be removed for the Legion side. So taking out 2 strong suicides in Bubbles and Warbeast, and the carry in Swiftblade, as well as potential juggle option in Warbeast, although obviously that wouldn't be happening with Nymphora and Rhapsody already picked up. Tempest, Flux, and Moon Queen being removed for the Hellborn side, as they want to remove one of the jungle options, although they leave Ophelia open. And Flux, Moon Queen, the initiator, and the carry role. So that speaks to the versatility of Legion's draft. Is any of those heroes could fit in this lineup, and that's what you want to do. You want to be like, all right, what are they going to do? How are they going to approach this game? And as a result, it's difficult for the opposing team to counter it, because it's like, well, I don't know what to pick. If I don't know what they're going to pick, I don't know how to pick against it. But their last 2 picks are Drunken Master and Parasite, which are once again versatile heroes. Parasite, not so much. He is one of the very few heroes that consistently goes aggressive jungle, so there's that. He also can be a farmer, or he can be really a ganker in the woods. There's 2 ways to play him in the jungle. Depending on which aspect of him you want to focus, he does both fairly well. One of the better jungle gankers, really, so I hope that part is emphasized, because that's why you'd pick a Parasite, really. I think him and Ophelia, strong gankers. Tempest perhaps a little bit more in the farming role. Same thing with Keep with the Forest, Warbeast. So we'll see what sort of Parasite comes out, but I expect it to be fairly active. DM and Wretched Hag, not going to give too much away. Both of those heroes can be played in any of the 3 lanes, so we don't really have an idea as to which one will be suiciding, which one will be playing the initiator, and probably which one will be playing the carry, because I would imagine Magnus will be in that middle lane, or he will be playing the initiator role, but we could see a Master Drunken mid, we could see Master Mag mid, we could see Master Mag or Master Drunken in the bottom lane, we could see the Suicide, potentially even the Suicide Magnus. Theoretically, they have 3 suicide options, 3 mid options, and 3 short lane options. So this is a pretty fantastic draft from the Legion side in terms of the confusing aspect. They've also got 3 strong stuns, and pretty solid team fight, some strong gank potential. They're lacking a little bit of push, but this is generally a good lineup from the Legion side. They'll all also hit really their peak in the mid game, perhaps around the 20 to 30 minute mark, as that's when Magnus will have a level 2 ultimate, he'll have a portal key. Drunken Master should be able to get some sort of anti-armor at that point, probably a Soul's Bulwark. Wretched Hag will have level 11 or so, which means that her burst damage is usually about as effective as it's ever going to get, and Parasite's similar story. So I'm liking this Legion lineup. They seem to work well together. There's strong gank potential, there's strong team fight potential, and it's going to be difficult to predict the lanes here. I really can't. I don't know. Hellborn side, meanwhile, pick up the Gemini and Geomancer as their last 2 selections, which is pretty interesting because the Gemini and Dampier don't feel like they've worked very well together. At this point, I think that we'll see double dual lanes, but I might prefer the tri-lane in the situation. I can't imagine they're going to send anybody suicide, except that, I guess the Geomancer might. That's the closest thing that might do it, and he does have a fair bit of regen, but not nearly enough really to consider as suicide role. So I think it is going to be the double dual lane. We'll see the Gemini, Dampier solo middle, Rhapsody and Gemini in the top lane, and Geomancer and Nymphora in the bottom. Or Nymphora looks like she might be going middle. I do prefer her with the Dampier, perhaps not mid, but this is going to be a suicide Geo, I think, which is odd. Honestly, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like, he's got to get escape mechanism, but he's just not going to get anything in this lane, particularly if he's going up against a dual lane. He really doesn't have the tankiness to survive. He's not a Kraken, or a Drunken Master for that matter, and he doesn't really have the harass potential to deal with something like a Master of Arms that will be able to kick him out of the lane, essentially. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not feeling too confident in terms of Geomancer's ability. It looks like he's going to try to pull the wave. No? He's not going to get there in time, so maybe he will. Yeah, so he's going to try to pull the wave here. And if he goes straight down, he might just get it. No, if he's just going to ward here. Okay. That makes more sense. But he did run right past this Word of Sight, so they definitely know that this is warded, and they should be able to counter it because they know exactly where it was placed, pretty much. And here comes the Courier with A Scarab, not a counter orb. Anyway, so in the middle lane it will be Drampier and Nymphora taking on Magmus, Master of Arms. Up in the short lane it's going to be Wretched Hag as a solo, and it's going to be a Suicide Drunken Master in top, who is actually pulling the wave. So Geomancer's going to have a better time down here than he would against a dual lane, but he should get harassed out fairly effectively. Here goes the Haunt, and no surprise, Wretched Hag is going to continually apply the auto attacks as well as the poison damage from that Haunt. Going to miss a couple of CS here as a result, but Geomancer also didn't bring too much regen here, just health bottom top of 3 tangos, and that's going to run out really quickly. So Wretched Hag should have pretty much complete dominance in this lane. Middle lane, I'm going to once again favor the Legion side here just because they have the dual stuns. Terrorize from Dampier is nice, but in fact the awkward movement can occasionally cause the Nymphora Zilstun to miss if you don't communicate very effectively. And that can sometimes be an issue for these lower division teams. Obviously it's around to 64, so we're not looking at the most consistent and best competitive teams. Certainly good teams, but not somebody would be like, oh, we definitely know this won't be a problem. Charge shot going on to Dampier right there, and a little more harassed, and he could be in some trouble. I think they're waiting for Master going to hit 2 here, and they could kill Damp. If they had done that before, that would have been a kill, no doubt. With the level 2 or level 1 Lava Surge there from Magmus, as well as the Fork Lightning and Charge Shot from Master of Arms. I cannot imagine that would have been a Dampier that lived. And Magmus is basically just going to have total control of this lane right now. He should be able to get essentially free farm here, and they're probably going to need at least 1 kill in this situation. Parasite will grab the Invis-Rune on bottom and run right into Nymphora. So we also have to consider, and now Nim's in a ton of trouble. Body blocks are going to come out. Leech is obviously there as well. They're trying to get the range, and Zeal Stun will just barely hit on the one side, but you're so screwed, Nymph. Wow. That was lucky. Charge shot as well. Leech is there, and we'll see if they can follow this up. No mana for a low. He does have mana, but it's not in a couple of seconds. They probably could have kept pursuing that. Terrorize will come in, and Master of Arms will just pop yet another mana potion. So excellently, I mean, it was just lucky. It was a good play from Nymph, but that was really lucky that she died to the neutrals there. So I do like Legion's draft here. I like their lanes, and I like how they're doing so far. So I'm really concerned here for the Hellborn team at this point. I don't like the fact that all their farmers are melee. That tends to be a bad situation. I don't like the fact that Geomancer's getting shut down. 69 gold per minute here. So he's basically got 0 CS, and yes, he has 0 CS. There's his first, and his second, which is good. But it's not particularly helpful. And he's also out of regen. Hag, meanwhile, has plenty of mana, and a bottle, and plenty of mana regen, so she's going to keep applying the Haunt, and just essentially get free farm down here. So Geomancer's just looking to leech experience, which is really not, it's what you can do as a suicide, but it's not the ideal situation by any means, and really, he's having a better time than he should. Haunt goes down. I don't know what he's planning to do here. Earth's Grasp going to do a fair bit of damage, but it's just now. The bottle gets picked up, and he could be in some trouble. Probably won't because of the dig, but I would have Hag jump on him, really, at this point. Because now he's going to need to go back, obviously. Terra is coming out onto Magmus, as there's some rune contesting going on up here. But not a huge deal. I think, yeah, regen rune bottled there on Nymphora. Magmus continues to do well here, 19 and 5 compared to Dampier at 13 and 1. He's out farming, you're getting out farmed a little bit, and there it goes. Earth's Grasp was there, but there's the Haunt, dig forward, doesn't matter. There's the Blink, and the Sonar Scream lost it on the So, as I said before, I don't like that suicide decision, and I like it even less considering how much regen he was granted. That's just not a situation that's gonna end well. I mean, Geomancer's not a traditional suicide hero for a reason. He's got a solid escape mechanism, but he's not particularly tanky. And a melee hero that isn't tanky is gonna have a serious problem suiciding. That's why we see Pharaoh suicide. Pharaoh's pretty tanky. We see up top, Drunken Master going to be able to get the kill here onto Rhapsody in this dual lane. And once again, things going well for the Legion side. So, a bit unfortunate. We haven't talked at all about this top lane. Meanwhile, Bot, somehow Suit Medic actually dies. Gets the Earth's Grasp on him. And Last auto attack. He didn't just run. He could have just run. The dig was down. That was odd. Bit of a poor play there, I think. Parasite coming in here with the Wild Hunter. Port's also coming in, though, and they're going to know about this, so they know Rhapsody's here. It's good, but they're going to jump onto Dampier, I think, here anyway, as Rhapsody's leaving a little bit, and they're trying to start this. There's the charge shot. Magnus is trying to line this up. Zealstun will only hit one, and we'll see what they can do here. There's a Lava Surge. Going to be on top of the Fork Lightning. And the Leech, did it ever go out? Dampier will be able to get away. There's the Leech finally, but it's not enough as the Bottle Charge has helped out. Actually, Bat Blast coming in here from Wretched Hag, double stun, and that's going to be kills on both supports. So Hag porting in and helping follow it up, but for some reason the Leech just took forever to come out, and that should have been also kill a Dampier. I don't understand why that took. Why Parasite didn't just throw it down. They pretty much had that kill if he just hit him with it. But whatever. They do end up getting kills on both supports. Top lane, like I said, we haven't talked about it pretty much here, but 330 gold per minute for Drunken Master, and Gemini's sitting at 200. This is a suicide Drunken Master against a dual short laner. I can't say I have an explanation for that. I really don't. Middle lane, meanwhile, we get another kill, as Damp actually does. There's the Fork Lightning. Zealstun not enough, as the dude Magnus manages to finish off Mr. Dampier. And things are just going extremely well for the Legion side at this point. Rhapsody off this side, perhaps looking for something. At this point, she can't keep the DM out. If he's got mana and health, then he can kill her. So, she has to be extremely careful. Dig, not gonna hit. Earth's Grasp does hit, but there's the Haunt, and now Geo's dead. And that was not a particularly intelligent play. I'm not sure why he made that decision, but it obviously backfired. And we're not seeing particularly impressive plays here from the Hellborn side, as we can see 270 GPM leads their team in farm. Meanwhile, Suit Medic, who is quickly becoming my favorite person ever, on that Wretched Hag in the bottom lane, is crushing it at 400 GPM. And here's Zealstun plus the charge shot, the Fork Lightning, easy kill there. Dampier puts the Terrorize down and he'll be fine.
Massacre!
That's like what I said before, you know, this is what's going to happen, is they've got the stuns and they have the burst damage. They're just like, alright, now M4 is dead, because we can do that. Top lane, they actually get another kill here onto Rhapsody. As Drunken chases her down, stagger, easy kill. Timeout from Wretched Hag. And Dampier gonna get jumped over here once again, trying to get the kill. And his Master of Arms not quite close enough. They go for that, and there's a stun as well. They're trying to bait this really hard, but there's a charge shot, and actually nice counter. So clearly baiting the Dampier right there. I was wondering why Damp was doing that. It's like, they're going to try to kill you, buddy, but I didn't even see the Geomancer, and I have God Vision. So I can't blame the Legion team too much for going for that and then getting turned around on. Hag's back, not even electing to use a pause, just losing about 30 seconds there. Not a huge deal, she was substantially ahead. And the Legion side continues to be ahead. DM going to jump on top of Gemini. We'll take the dual breath, but then just run away. Dampier going to pour it in. And DM needs to be particularly careful about what he's doing right here, which seems pretty aggressive, and he's actually not going to pay for it as he managed to get the kill. And then the follow-up from Magma's going to take the consume, but we'll be able to save his buddy and get Dampier to back off. Middle lane, meanwhile, we've got Initiation on top there. Let's go back. Bat Blast actually whiffed. There's a charge shot, though, an easy kill with the Sunrise Scream. Double tap coming out from Wretched Hag as the last auto attack will answer the kill on the second support and then M4 as well. It was Rhapsody, sorry, died second. God, light blue and gray, and they're both support heroes. It's very confusing. So Geomancer has returned to his bottom lane. And so has Hag. Earth's Grasp already going down, and now Geo's in a lot of trouble. Haunt's there. He's going to have to dig away, but that's just going to be followed by the Bat Blast, or the Sunny Scream.
Say my name!
So, it's just death now. He doesn't have vision here, there's no wards. He's been getting destroyed. I don't know what the plan is, but it's not a good one. They need to get him out of this lane. He needs to start ganking more often. Drunken Master up top will take Dampier out. Let's go watch that as he just jumped on him with a stagger and a couple of auto attacks. Will be able to just live despite the tower damage, about 35 health. Up to the side over here, meanwhile, Minden 4 will get picked off as well. And we're at 14-2 hero kills in favor of the Legion team. Illusion Rim popped in middle, and Magnus is going to try to take down this tower. Might actually get it, thanks to the creep wave basically being destroyed. Geomancer are going to come in here and try to stop him a little bit. So he's definitely at this tower. The question is, will he get denied? And no, it won't.
The Legion have destroyed a
As the
Hellborn
Cravestone
tower.
Field actually misses. He's charging the ultimate. It's going to go off, despite the Gemini's attempt to cancel it. And now the double duels dogs are going to kill him. So Magnus getting a little greedy there, but obviously didn't know what was going on. Gemini dog's actually going to try to recombine, not going to happen. Zeal Stun just going to miss both targets. That's the Illusion, Magnus running in, and then Drunken Master's getting hit on everybody. Meanwhile, Parasite getting jumped, Staccatos help finish him off. And then Boris trying to live, not going to happen. Stagger will be able to kill him, and Drunken's just doing way too well at this point. 400 gold per minute on the Suicide Drunken against a dual lane. Gemini and Rhapsody. I really don't know how that happened, but it shouldn't have. And Infora here is at 37 gold per minute. Rhapsody's at 69. 69 is the I'm going to sit in the well and just let the gold tick get me GPM gold. And obviously 38 is even below that, so she's died more than she's contributed. 06 and 0. Haunt going down here on a Geomancer. A couple of auto attacks, or so that's Gemini. All these little melee things running around, and the Twin Fangs will actually hit, plus the Sky Stones, but the Defensive Master's Call is there. Excellent backblast on the 3, and each face-off Leech will do a lot. Zeal Stun hits nothing, and the Legion team will back off. So excellent teamwork there, obviously. Master of Arms providing that ultimate, and helping to save Hag, who is then able to turn it around onto the Gemini. And things are just going pretty horribly for the Legion team, for the Hellborn team. For the Legion team, they're going great. Gemini gonna perhaps try to get a kill here on the Parasite. Staccato stuns. Dig is nope. Earth's Grasp, and he's just gonna run away. Okay, so they don't go for the dig, they go for the Staccatos. Obviously, Staccatos are not in range, but if you dig in front of him, at least force him to go back. Either take the stun and then take the Staccatos, or go back in front of Rhapsody and let her get range. That would have made sense. Instead, they elect to do nothing, and Geomancer more or less costs him the kill, I think. So they probably would have had Parasite, or at least gotten close to killing him. Gemini up, they're going to try to stop the deny on the tower. That's not going to happen. Magnus will be able to run back in here and finish this off. Nope, it is being denied. Well played there from Gemini. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Fortification goes off, and N4 is looking for a Zeal Stun, but he's going to get caught, actually, as they see him somehow. Zeal Stun hits, but not going to be nearly enough. Geomancer will get a dig onto 2, plus the Crystal Field will actually hit both of them, and Rag's going to be a lot of trouble. We'll take the Defensive Master's Call. Geomancer's going to get turned on. Tower dies. Dampier is the next on the list. He's going to fall as well, and that's just way too much damage.
Massacre!
20-4 hero kills. All tier 1 towers are down in favor of the Legion side. And that's basically going to mean the game. I mean, I'm really not sure how Hellborn are going to come back from this. Ultimate getting charged up here by Magnus. For him the portal key, and there's a dead Gemini. So I haven't even mentioned the fact that Magnus now has a portal key. Richard Hag setting in an Arcana, so I would assume she's going for the early Hellflower. Bit of an interesting build, not something we see very often. The second one is picked up. Zeal Stone there onto Drunken Master. Will drop the ultimate to prevent any follow-ups, and he'll be fine as a result. Hasted Magnus off to the side. Perhaps looking for an initiation. Both the supports are level 5, and he's level 10, so shouldn't be that big a deal, that hard to do. But there are 4 Hellborn heroes here, so he's going to decide to not maybe go in there, considering he has very little backup. The rest of his team's meandering in. And we'll see if they try to engage here. Hag trying to take some farm in the jungle, and we'll clean up this hard camp. Codex gets picked up on Parasite, 15 minutes in, a little bit late. But he has a Blood Chalice and Phase Boots, so understandable. 317 gold per minute, certainly not a bad farm at all. And he'll just be able to start picking off supports like crazy. 650 health or so on both Nymphoria and Rhapsody, and that's going to be well within his combo range for a kill. Gemini faking the Twin Fangs, but not actually going to throw them down. Gemini gonna have to, Gemini's gonna have to dig up the hill. Ultimate coming popped by Truckin, who just destroys everything. Twin Fangs hits nothing. Damphater jumps in, gets flash out of the way. Fork Lightning and Lava Surge, easy kill. Codex manages to finish off both the supports. Now Damphater's dead, and that's game.
Legion wins. Genocide.
So, well played, the Legion. 15 minutes a game. I mean, they outdrafted him, they outlaned him, they outplayed him. That was a total victory in every sense of the word, and they take it in less than 16 minutes. So that'll do it for this one, and we'll move on to the next.